Hello everyone, welcome to this course of robotics. So in this session we'll be discussing about DH notations, nothing but Denoven Hartenberg notation. What was the primary reason why we'll be learning this DH notation and how it will be getting applied to the robotics links, whatever it may be. So every stuff we will be discussing in this session. So as I have already said, DH. But why we will be learning this DH notation? DH will be nothing but Denoven Hartenberg. Maybe the name will be looking somewhat odd to you or somewhat new to you, but all these things will be linked to a very simple thing. So consider any such kind of a coordinate system. Let this one be a Cartesian coordinate system. Suppose it will be x, y. Now here I am having a one kind of a link. Suppose if I am placing a link somewhere here, let this link length be around 5 units. If I want to, suppose if I place this entire link somewhere here, so if you want to identify that point exactly, as it is completely lying on the x-axis, this point will be 5, 0 obviously, and the same link gets inclined. And if you want to identify point somewhere here, obviously it will be 0, 5, as that link was on the y-axis and here was on the x-axis. That too, when we will know properly that exact link length, then only we will be identify this link length. Suppose if this link was equally inclined to x-axis and y-axis, somehow like this one, so I need to identify the point here. For that extent, what I will be doing was, I will be generating some x component and y component. Suppose this will be 5 and I will be calculating theta, and this will be giving my 5 sin theta, 5 cos theta. So that this will be giving my component, so that at last finally I can get coordinates in terms of 5 cos theta minus 5 sin theta. This is a normally conventional way how you will be calculating position of that required corner or required point whenever will be required. Suppose if we are having a two links, here I am extending somewhere here. Suppose this distance was something around 7 units. If you want to calculate, suppose this is my origin. If I want to calculate that length of this particular entire total link, definitely this will be giving my 12 units. Means it was located at a somewhat 12 units far from where we are supposed to require. But if that same link, it will be having any such kind of tilt of a certain angle, again how we will be finding out? We will be finding out components along x-axis and y-axis, and this particular position will be we will be able to find out. But if you observe here, entire links all were placed on a coplanar, means all that links were placed on a complete plane. Here now exactly how I am showing you here, right? But suppose if links were having a certain inclination which comes out of that board, either through this way, or it was coming out of this board, or it was going into that board, then surely it will be very difficult to identify exact point of this particular output or particular end point. But how we are able to identifying that particular end effector position? Here again I am mentioning as end effector. End effector nothing but end point of our link, where you will be attaching either a gripper or any such kind of a tool. All these terms will be getting familiar from the topic of robotics or nothing but course from robotics. If I want to design a robotic arm, and if I am here I am establishing a 2 servo motors, one over here and one over here. If I want to move a robotic arm somewhere here, moving a robotic arm is not such a simple thing. You need to define where it has to move. Suppose where it has to move exactly. So that thing you need to find out exactly that final points where you are supposed to place your end effector. For that thing, if it is completely planar, means here my two links are lying on the board plane itself. So here I can calculate easily for the namesake. Suppose earlier my links were somewhere here where it was having no such kind of inclination. Suppose first link it was having a certain tilt. This one also we can easily find out. Suppose this particular link was also, it was having again one more tilt. Then identification of this point will be really tough. First we need to identify here and we need to identify here. That last it will be giving my xe comma ye, nothing but position of my end effector. It will be getting really tough when we are having more number of links. For that thing we will be utilizing this approach, nothing but Dehn-Hartenberg approach, for calculating our position of end effector where we were supposed to place. For that thing we will be using a certain mathematical and matrix operations. Those are some kind of simple if we are able to understand a basic thing between two links, which I will be explaining in the coming up session. So now up to now we have discussed what was the importance learning this Dehn-Hartenberg. Now we will be finding out some kind of basic terms which you will be relating to the extent which you are already know about this robotics. So first, nothing but we will be learning about link parameters. What are the nothing but link parameters? As I have already said, in robotics we will be mostly having that mechanism entirely operated by certain links, nothing but. So what are these nothing but link parameters? Suppose consider any such kind of link. Earlier we learned that suppose this is my link. If anyone asks you what is the length of this particular link, we will be saying that from distance between these two edges will be giving you link length. But here we will be changing that definition somewhat relevant to that robotics. First we will be identifying its joints, where we will be placing its axis to connect with some other link. If you observe herely, this is nothing but a one kind of axis where we will be placing our two links, where they both will be have one common joint. So the distance from that one joint to the another joint, which will be commonly termed as a notation as AI, this will be giving you length of that particular link. But to explain it to you clearly, up to now we have discussed about what will be that link length. Earlier we have discussed that link length was nothing but from edge points. Here in robotics point of view, link length was nothing but for a particular link where we are having two separate joints. From the joint distance it can be commonly termed as a link length. But there are certain constraints too you need to observe how we will be calculating this entire link length. For example, consider these two as a joint axis. Suppose one axis was somewhere over here, another axis was somewhere over here, but we need to be very conscious that the distance has to be measured perpendicular to these axes. Then only we can assure that that is a particular link length. For example, this is our front view. If I go to its top view, so this is the two axis from where I have generated two axes. The common perpendicular distance in between these two axes will be giving us a link length, nothing but AI. That's how we will be measuring a link length of any such kind of a robotic link. But herely, if you observe clearly, there is a chance of this particular link length tends to be 0. If my entire robotic link was somehow like this one, we can easily calculate link length from my two perpendicular axes distance. But suppose if my link length was somehow inclined in such a way. So this is the portion which I am trying to mention. Now also again I am generating axis. If you observe clearly, the axis which I have generated from this particular joint and the axis which I have generated from this particular joint, there is no such kind of perpendicular distance between these two axes. So obviously here AI will be turns to 0. So surely there will be certain links where their presence will be there, but their link length will be completely denoted as a 0. Now we will be moving to that second parameter. So this one was nothing but link length. Second one angle of twist theta I. What is that angle of twist theta and how we will be calculating this angle of twist theta I? Suppose, as I have already said, here I am having two axes, somewhere over here, somewhere over here. This link was completely a coplanar one. It was not having any such kind of a twist or nothing but any such kind of orientation. If we want to calculate angle between these two axes, what we are supposed to do was simply translate one axis along to that other. So if you observe clearly, both the axes were completely parallel. So nothing but what the primarily focusing if two axes were nothing but parallel, nothing but there is no such kind of angle in between them. That's what we will be doing here too. So for calculating angle theta I, simply translate this axis to somewhere here. So this is my axis and I am translating this axis somewhere to here. If you observe clearly, there is no such kind of inclination. Both these axes are nothing but completely parallel. So what will be that angle between these two lines? As both the lines were parallel, obviously theta I will be 0. Sorry, this will be my alpha I. So alpha I, angle between two parallel lines will be definitely 0. This is a one more parameter for nothing but angle of twist and link length. Link length was nothing but the distance between two axes, which is nothing but a common perpendicular distance between these two axes, and nothing but angle of twist, nothing but angle between the two axes of a particular link length will be commonly termed as an alpha I, which gives you angle of twist. Next we will be moving on to that second session, joint parameters, by constructing a one common diagram through which you can completely learn about DH parameter notations. So now we will be moving about to the generalized matrix formation for calculating Denevin-Hartenberg. Please don't get confused. This will be completely related to the earlier session, how we have calculated a particular link when it was placed along that x-axis or it was placed along to the y-axis. There it was very easy to calculate. Let it be 5, 0, 0, 5 and the link length was 5 units. But when we are getting a very complicated thing, suppose here I am having two links which are completely coplanar. There was no such kind of angle between them. Suppose this particular angle was having a certain elevation. With that elevation, it was having a certain twist too. Are you getting? Initially, my links were very familiar one. I can easily calculate along x-axis 5, something 12, 0, 0, 12 if my links were placed somewhere here. But when my links were having a certain offset, and it was having a certain twist too. At this particular point, calculate my end effector position with reference to my base frame will be very much tough. For that thing, we are utilizing a Denevin-Hartenberg to calculate my position and orientation of end effector of my any such kind of robotic arm with the utilization of a generalized thing which I am trying to mention now. So these are my two links which I am considering now. Let this particular link be I-1 I. After that, what we are supposed to do, we need to identify axis. Let this axis was somehow looks like this one. Again, this particular axis. Again. So the axis which was passing through one of the joint of I-1, I am terming it as I-2, and the common axis between these two links, then only both the links will be get jointed. This will be I-1 and this particular link will be I. Particular link axis will be I. Now after that, as I have already mentioned you that, what will be that my link length? If suppose my link was somewhat like this one, I need to identify a common perpendicular between those two axes that will be giving my particular link length. Here all the same stuff will be applicable over here, but here I am having a link of certain offset. At that time it will be very much tough for me to identify that particular link length. For that thing, what I was supposed to do, you need to follow the same basic thing. First, generate an axis from this particular joint, and the similar way generate an axis from the another particular joint. These two are nothing but initially it was a parallel, it was a very simple thing for us. Now these two lines were somewhat a Non-coplanar lines. For that thing, definitely if you remember your 3D geometry, what that stuff you have already learnt in your plus 1 plus 2, you will be identifying one common line which will be perpendicular to both these axes. One common line which will be perpendicular to both these axes, that line was commonly termed as a skew line. So initially I have mentioned that you need to draw a line which will be perpendicular to both the axes. Here also I need to draw a perpendicular line which is a perpendicular to both these axes. Here I am mentioning that one as a skew line. Don't have any such kind of panic doubt that sir we can draw n number of lines. N number of lines when you will be having only two parallel axes. This will be your perpendicular, this will be your perpendicular, but all those perpendiculars will be giving a single link length. But here you will be having only one common perpendicular between these two skew lines. Let that one be. When I am drawing a common perpendicular between these two axes, obviously it will be termed as link length. I am mentioning it as a I minus. In the same way, these are again two axes. If you identify common normal between and this will be my common normal, that will be giving you particular link length. So now these are the two link lengths. We have easily identified link lengths. Now what we are supposed to do further? Now let us have a practical look how this both links look like. It was not looking like this one. Now next we are moving to now let me have a one kind of practical look how this both the links were looks like. Here I am showing completely on a planar view in terms of a board, but how both these links will be looks like. Here this is not our final image. Here I have kept this particular joint to have a certain offset. Sorry. After that it was having a certain inclination. In this you can't identify that particular link. So now you can able to identify here, right? There was a one kind of an angle of twist and another offset some my base reference link. So at this point, how will you find out position with reference to this particular joint? That's how my entire links were looks like. This was nothing but I minus 1. And this particular link was I, the central axis was I minus 1 and this axis was I minus 2, I. Overall, my final goal was to identify end effector position, nothing but this one. Now, moving up to now we have identified what are the axis, everything. Now, next we will be moving out second parameter, nothing but angle of twist alpha I. How we will be identify angle of twist? Suppose this is my two perpendicular axis, this is my particular link. Here to find out I need to generate an axis somewhere here, as I have already said. This is my one axis, this is my one axis. To get that angle between these two axes, I need to move one axis from somewhere here to here. As the both axes were parallel, obviously angle of twist will be here 0. But now here we need to identify what was the angle of twist for this particular link. Suppose this is my angle. This is my axis of this particular link. I need to completely translate this axis to somewhere here. So obviously it looks like. So here my angle of twist will be alpha I. Again one more parameter which I am trying to mention. What will be that angle between these two axes? If suppose here. Here angle will be obviously 180 when this particular link was having a certain inclination in this way. If you observe clearly, we need to extend link length. When we are extending link length, where this link length gets intersected, that will be gives my inclination angle, angle of joint angle. Sorry, there is one more parameter, nothing but joint angle. Joint angle theta I. How we will be calculating joint angle theta y? As I have already said, link length will be nothing but from one axis to another axis. This will be and this will be. Extend these two link lengths. Definitely you will be getting. Suppose if you observe clearly, this is my position of links. So when I'm generating link lengths, where the both lines will be intersecting, we will be generating a one common angle, nothing but theta I. That will gives you angle of twist, sorry, joint angle between those two particular links. Here also we need to do the same thing. This is our link length and this is our link length. Here also AI minus 1 will be my link length of I minus 1 and AI will be link length of my I. So simply generate this particular link length over here. Now extend this. So this will be giving us a certain angle, because there was some kind of angle between these two links. Let that angle will be theta I. Now almost notation part was completed, getting to nearby completed. Now up to now we have find out it was having only a twist. That one I have find out by generating a link length, where the link lengths were having a certain angle. That one I have found out. But I have already said to you there was a one offset between that second link. Means my link has moved to a bottom a certain distance. How we will be identifying that distance? That thing we can figure out between, there was a one common axis, right? Along that common axis where my link lengths get intersected, identify those two particular points, and the distance between those 2 points will be giving you my distance, nothing but offset. Link offset. Link offset dA, nothing but how much distance the end effector has to, it has moved either to the top or to the bottom. That offset distance we can observe somewhere here. Suppose, now these are my entire primary notations. This is my link. It has turned to an angle theta I have done. And if you see, there was no such kind of offset because all were under completely planar. Now we are having a certain offset distance dA. That will be, we can identify along that common axis where my link lengths will be getting intersected. Now this is the entire construction part. With this my construction part was almost completed. Now I will be moving about how we will be finding out my end effector position with reference to my base frame. For that sake, we need to construct my coordinate system, as I have already said to you. This is my x, y. If I want to find out here 5, 0, 0, 5, but suppose my link was somewhere here, I need to find this. If I have translated my coordinate system to here to this particular system, I can easily find out, right? But for this thing, I need to design one kind of a transformation matrix, which this thing we have already learned in the earlier sessions. So I need to design a certain transformation matrix so that I can calculate my end effector position. For that thing, first initially, let me design a one frame at somewhere here. Let this frame be x. I minus 1. Remember all these thing terms like we will be measuring x-axis along that link length. This particular point I am turning it as I minus 1 from nothing but I minus 1 coordinate system. So this particular along the link length axis compared to I minus 1. This will be my primary or nothing but base coordinate system. With reference to this coordinate system, I need to measure my final coordinate, nothing but end effector. So this will be my x I minus 1. If we are having x, we need to calculate one more variable, x, y, z. But majorly we will be focusing on x and z. Z axis will be primarily applied along that axis where these both joints are getting rotated. So obviously this axis will be my z axis. Along this axis only that entire links were getting rotated. This will be my z I minus 1. So this will be my x I minus 1. This will be my z I minus 1. These are my primary coordinates. But overall, I need to translate my entire coordinate system to somewhere here. This is how my final coordinate system looks like. As I have already said to you, x-axis I will be mentioning along that link length. So this will be my xi. Obviously, this will be my zi. So our primary goal was somehow try to identify a transformation matrix which can move my point from I minus 1 from this particular frame to I. So what are the different transformations we need to find out so that our points can move from here? First, so if you observe clearly, this is my xi minus 1, this is my zi minus 1. Overall, I need to make transformation so that I can move from I minus 1 frame to xi zi. But for that thing, if you observe, this is my zi and this is my xi. So this is my zi which was facing towards you, and this is my xi. If I can twist that zi to a particular angle theta I. Observe, if I am twisting my zi to a particular angle theta I, obviously xi was getting lifted up. If you observe, that same thing will be applicable over here. If I can twist zi in such a way that so that xi has to move through the, are you getting? So that I need to twist my zi, so the zi minus 1, so that xi will be occupying a new position along that pre-x position. So construction wise, I need to twist zi with an angle theta I, so that my xi will be occupying this particular position. Let this new position will be xa, as there was no such change in zi, but still I am mentioning it as za. So clear? Up to now we have translated from I minus 1 to I by rotation. So we have transformed from I minus 1 to A. So next transformation, how it looks like. Initially it was like this one, when I am twisting my z so that x gets lifted up. Now that same coordinate system I need to move along z axis. That same coordinate system, nothing but from A frame, I need to move, nothing but translate along z axis. How much distance I need to translate? I already mentioned to you, it was di. So after moving from my A to this particular notation, z will be having that same position as z. So I am mentioning, but still I am mentioning as B for our reference. X will be, as this was already we have drawn by taking a reference from our link length. So this will be my xb. Great. Now this is my pre-position. Still I am only one step away from my final position, nothing but I frame. How can I get that? But if you observe, my ZB was somewhat like this one, but my ZI was somewhat like this one. But how can I get ZB position to ZI? It can be only done by one common way, which you can already observe that. Suppose this is my ZB and this is my final ZI. There was an angle, nothing but alpha I minus 1. How can I get that angle? Yes, your approach was somewhat good. If I twist xb to a certain angle of alpha I, if I can twist certain angle of alpha I, so that x position it won't get changed, only z axis angle will get changed. So how much angle of twist you are maintaining for x, in that same way x will be gets oriented. That's how we will be getting new ZC. Sorry, this angle will be my alpha I and my new x-axis will be XC. So we are up to very near to our final transformation. Now, so when I'm having an when I'm twisting my angle, when I'm twisting my axis x with an angle, when I'm twisting an angle x with an angle alpha, x it won't get translated but it gets orientation, but here along z axis it gets moved. How it's possible means, if you observe clearly here, so this is the x-axis which I'm showing towards my side, and this is z. If I'm twisting my x, x position it won't get changed, only the z-axis position it gets changed. That's what I have observed. That's what I have mentioned even too. But now, as I have already said, we are very much near to our final position. Initially, my x was like this one and my z was like this one. When I am twisting an x, z was even getting one transformation. So this is my final position. Here I need to do one more transformation. So if your guess was correct, our transformation was to simply move this entire C frame. That's it. We have reached our final destination. But how? Nothing but what we have done from moving to here and here. We have translated this entire C frame to I frame with a distance of AI. That's it. So we have somehow attained from C to I. Now again I'm summing up entire thing somewhere here. First we have moved from I minus 1 to A. Then we have moved from I minus 1 to B. Then from B to C. Then from C to I. How we have moved from I minus 1 to A? Nothing but this particular frame. This frame to this frame. Initially we have rotated Z. We have rotated Z with an angle of theta. We have rotated Z with an angle of theta A. So we have attained A. After that A to B. We have translated to a distance of di. We have translated to a distance of di along z axis. Translated along di along z axis. After that we have again rotated x axis. We have again rotated z axis so that x got translated. Nothing but even rotated too. Multiplied by transformation of x with an angle alpha I, x with an angle alpha I. After that we have translated the C frame to I along x axis. Sorry, this was rotation. Translated x along that length A I minus 1. So this is my final notation to convert any such kind of coordinate from particular this position to here. If suppose if you are having a certain particular point somewhere here, let it be x comma y. If you have twisted z axis, definitely these coordinates will be moving, right? For that thing, to identify, what we will be doing was we will be first identifying r z comma theta, and we will be multiplying these coordinates x comma y with the transformation. Then we will be getting a new position a dash. Let this be a. In the same way, this entire stuff will be giving a one kind of transformation matrix, nothing but t I minus 1 to a. This will be your old coordinates, nothing but a point, and this will be new coordinates a dash. So if you multiply this particular transformation with your old coordinates, definitely you can get your final coordinates. So entire this stuff we will be discussing in the next session. This is regarding complete DH notation, nothing but Denevin Hartenberg, for identifying any such kind of final points when there will be certain translation, nothing but an axis when your links gets rotated or when links get translated. So that's it for this session.